You can find it in museums, historic churches, and antique shops, but the ancient art of stained glass is still very much alive today. For this week's In Focus, Jamil Donath tells us about a couple in the Northwoods that specializes in the art of stained glass.
Stained glass windows and Tiffany lamps have been an art form for centuries. And in the secluded studio of Lucy and John Norman, stained glass is still in the spotlight.
When they're lit up, it just, you can't keep your eyes off them.
For more than 30 years, the Normans have made the art of cutting, grinding, and designing stained glass windows and lamps a full-blown business.
A lot of church windows, we've done a lot of restaurant windows, windows for people's homes, cabinet doors.
John handles the construction of the glass, cutting out detailed, often tiny individual pieces of glass and grinding them smooth so that they will fit perfectly together.
Basically, you're making your own jigsaw puzzle out of glass. And once you know you've done your job right, then you can start putting them together.
Lucy has the more difficult job, as John puts it, of picking out the color scheme for the designs.
So these are chapel windows.
The most important part in designing stained glass is the lighting. So before Lucy starts designing, say, a window, she tests the colors of the glass in natural lighting.
I always check samples with the light source that I'm going to be using.
When making a lamp, the Normans hold the glass up underneath a light bulb, because the color of the glass appears different under different lighting.
Because that's the way they're going to be lit, and I want to make sure that the colors work.
Believe it or not, John and Lucy never had any artistic upbringing, just a natural knack for glass. In the early 80s, John learned how to stain glass when he bought a stained glass lamp kit and realized it was designed poorly, so he taught himself how to cut glass.
Back then, there were no classes, or you didn't have online or books or anything. So I just sat down and started putzing with it and figured it out.
Lucy started her glass business before she knew anything about stained glass, which is actually how these two met.
I just knew how to run a business, and I hired people who knew how to do it. And that's how I met my husband.
But while the Normans never had any professional experience in the art, they always had a love for glass.
Yeah, jumped into it and see where it went.
It seemed like that was a good reason to start a business.
So as long as the sun is shining and a light bulb is nearby, these Lightbenders' love for stained glass will never lose its luster. For this week's In Focus, Jamil Donath, Lakeland News.
The Normans' stained glass artwork is on display and available for purchase at the Blank Canvas Gallery in Park Rapids and Gallery 4 in Fargo.
If you've enjoyed this segment of Lakeland News, please consider making a tax-deductible contribution to Lakeland Public Television.